So this sabotaging success is so critical to overcome that if you don't, it's not going to happen. Now, why do I say that? Well, I say that because we are making it too hard on ourselves. You see, we can study all the books that we want. We can study all with all the mentors, but if we don't overcome these success issues, if we don't overcome them, if we don't go pass through these 5 mistakes, life would seem like it's stopping. So what's number one? Well, number one, I think one of the key things, which I uncovered this through studying Think and Grow Rich, and that's why it's brought during this topic, Think and Grow Rich. See, we all want to be successful. And for us to be successful, we really have to accept it deep down on the subconscious level, on the desire, on the internal part. Deep down, you really have to want to be successful. And if you don't want to be successful on deep down on the inside of you, it's not going to happen. Intellectually, I believe everybody wants to be successful. If you ask anybody, do you want to be successful? And they, oh, of course I want to be successful. I want to make more money. I want to have a better job. I want to build my business. I would like my coaching business to be this. I'd like my company to grow to blah, 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 right? But deep down in the psyche, right? When you think that if you deserve it, do you really accept that behavior, right? Do you really take it all in that it's going to happen? Now, the good thing about this, and let me assure you, it's easy to start accepting the new belief. It's easy. It's not complicated. We are making it too hard. We all make, and I say we because I am part of this game, because we are all at different levels. And as we transfer to that next level of awareness, next level of happiness, health, and success, we are going through these paradigms. So let me assure you, it's not complicated, but your current programming, your current thinking is messing up with you. And to assure you that it is your paradigm. If you're confused why this is happening, it's your current paradigm, your current programming. That's how you're living, your habitual behavior. And we're all about habits. So your emotional reaction is hijacking you. You do want the success, but deep down on the inside, you're not so sure. You're not allowing yourself to accept it because you don't know how. We're going to teach you how. I can help you do that. With thinking into results and studying in some of these book clubs that we have, we can overcome this. Step one, I'm going to give you 5 steps. Just 5. Just think where you could be 5 years from now. Think where you could be 6 months from now. Number 2, you worry too much about what other people are thinking of you. And we cover this in Thinking into Results. It's one of the ghosts of fear, criticism. So you're living your life worrying about what others are thinking of you. And trust me, the 1 billion people in China, nobody's thinking of you. The 340 million people in the United States, nobody's thinking of you. But you're sitting around thinking, oh, what are they going to say about me? How do I look? How I show up? Nobody's thinking of you. Now, I'm not talking about your family. I'm not talking about your kids. I'm not talking about your mom and dad. They are thinking of you. But they are thinking of you in the way they know how to think of you. I'm thinking about the business partners, the mastermind partners, the CEOs, like those companies that you need to be interacting with so you can grow your business. They're not thinking of you. You think they are, but they're not. So it's none of your business to think about what they're thinking of you. That's their business. Your business is how you think of you, which goes back to step number 1, how on the deep down you're not being successful and how you're showing up. Now, I tell you, I only got this information after reading Think and Grow Rich many, 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 many times, and I'm reading it again. And if you want to study it, we can help you. You can come and study it with us, like we're doing today, this morning, me and Paula. Now, number 3, you don't treat yourself well. You're too hard on yourself. The things you say to yourself, the way you act about yourself, or the little voice that's happening in your head. And the problem is that it's habitual. We give ourselves a hard time. We were taught to do that. Your parents, when something happened to you when you were a kid, they kept bringing it up again and again and again and again. Oh, you failed that math class. Oh, you lost that job. Oh, you got fired from that one. I've done it too, to my own kids. I've done it to myself. because my habitual programming got me here. Now, this is where the material and the coach starts coming hand in hand to teach you how to let go of all that. So we have to let all these problems go. We have to overcome this childhood trauma. We have to overcome this paradigm to that next level. You don't treat yourself very well. And when you do a mistake, you give yourself too much hard time. You need to stop doing that today. See, today could mark the turning point. Today could mark that turning point where you make a decision. But to do that, the decision chapter is incredible. If you don't make a decision on your desire, if you don't make a decision on what you really want, it's like you're driving backwards. So there's 2 more steps, and then we can get into the true Think and Grow Rich book so that you can express your thoughts. I and you and all of us, we spend too much time in the past. I think a lot of times we're going through the day and we're overthinking what happened yesterday, overthinking what happened with that client, overthinking how that presentation. No, don't get me wrong. When it happens, we need to think about it and just correct. See, every time I have a presentation, I write 2 things at the end. What did I do well? What can I improve? I don't give myself a hard time. But we're spending too much time in the past looking back with guilt and resentment. And we need to stop looking back with guilt and resentment because we're just trying, we're living, we're doing the best we can with what we got. So don't look back at your past results, at your past habitual living with guilt and resentment. You have to just peek at your results and decide what you want and live from the goal achieved. Instead, we're doing it the other way, which is why we continue to have the same results, which is why some people are on their 2nd, 3rd, 4th generation on welfare, or they go to prison, or they got drugs, or all kind of different things. So this is messing up with your mental well-being. So for those who are stressed, depressed, and sad, and they keep bringing back what happened before, it's because we're living this past, and the past becomes the future, and it's just all over again. It's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle. And the only way you're going to stop doing that is by guidance, by coming to a place like this, a community where we can help you with a group and you can start growing. Now, you're going to have to do the work. Nobody can do this work for you. You just have to make the decision that, you know what, this is a safe space and you want to change. You want to be helped the easy way. Number 5, this is my last point. This is including me, by the way. I say you, but it's including me because as I study me, I study you. That's all I need to do. We let our emotions control our thinking. See, last night, right before I went to bed, I read an email about the supplier that's supplying me some stuff about the way things are going, and I wasn't too happy. And I started to get emotionally engaged with it. I was letting my emotions control my thinking, but I was preparing the day before for this 10, 15-minute communication. I said, no, I'm not going to let my emotions control my thinking. Doesn't matter how the supplier feels. Well, it matters, but I'm not going to let that control my thinking. I'm not going to let that indecision, doubt, and fear of what might happen really steal my thinking. So we got to take care of that. And that's indecision, doubt, and fear. That's also in the Think and Grow Rich. And that's why I love this book. See, this indecision, doubt, and fear, and letting your emotion control your thinking makes you wake up tired, disenergized, not engaged. You don't feel good. And you're tiptoeing into life. Tiptoeing, hoping for the safe things to go on, nothing to happen, no abrupt conditions. You just want that status quo. When, if you're in the hospital and they plug you in with your heart, and if it's not doing up and down, if it's not going up and down, if it's a flat line, you're going underground. So you don't want to be a flat line. You want to be going up. Up in health, up in wealth, up in money, up in resources, up in friends, up in mastermind partners, up in coaches. You want to treat yourself so well that you reject the past. Now, the best part of all these 5 things is that you can change quickly and easily. You can make a decision today that you're not going to do this past anymore, and you can start changing. That's the best part. And you can do this. And how do I know that? Because I did it. And if I did it, you can do it. I'm just like yourselves. I started reading the material. I started studying it. I got Bob to teach me some things, and then Laura Langmeyer, and then John DeMartini, and then Harrison Klein. And now I'm feeling better. I'm healthier, happier, wealthier. And I want to have the same for you. All my clients have results, and I want to help you. I want you to all to lighten up because you're not going to get like that. See what's happening right now. You're comparing yourself too much, too fast to too many people. And at the moment you compare yourself to somebody else, the moment you put somebody else in a higher position than you in this comparison, you're downgrading yourself. You're going back to guilt and resentment. All you have to do is just get better. And that's part of the law of compensation. You just have to get better today than what you did yesterday. And I want you to lighten up. I want you to stop struggling because struggling is not fun. I struggled for too long to really get what I want. And I was not on the right path. I was not in the changing jobs, jumping places, doing things. It was not the right thing to do. But I finally figured it out. And that's why this community is being built. That's why this connection with the group, with studying together, the book clubs, the Think and Grow Rich, thinking into results is really the key. It's a system, right? And I want you to get better. You can start getting better anytime soon. But if you keep operating in the current beliefs, in the current desires, in the current image that you have right now, you're not going to change and you're going to continue to suffer. And I don't want you to suffer because I suffered for a long time and it's not fun. Now, on the bright side of things, Paula and Anisha and everybody that's listening to the replay in my beautiful group, that when this video gets posted, you're going to make it. I assure you, you are going to make it. No matter what, you are going to make it because there's hope, right? You are going to make it. But it all depends how long you want this to take. It all depends how long you want to continue this misery and the suffering of not achieving, not succeeding, not releasing the weight, not getting what you want, and not selling the program that you have or the jig or the gadget that you have or the house that you have. How long do you want this to take? How long do you want to allow the suffering with self-doubt, the poor self-image, the poor relationships? How long are you going to allow this to happen? When are you going to wake up and say, today is the day that I will change? Today is the day that I will start lifting my hand and asking for help. I tell my guys every day, I have like 60 managers. What help? What can I do for you? I'm like a servant coach leader. I am. What can I help you with? Nobody says a thing. I'm like, but you're not performing well. Your results are not what I want them to be. And I'm asking you, what do you want? How can I help you? They don't say. Why? Because we're stuck in this paradigm of self-sabotage. We're stuck in this paradigm where we don't even ask for the help we need. Poor business. What is this costing you? Loss of business, loss of life, loss of resources, self-doubt. And there's many more things that have occurred, right? And all this causes this conflict on the inside and it starts manifesting to the outside. I have a coin here. Where's this beautiful coin? This is from Bob Proctor. And it's about living your life from the inside out. So for those who are on the screen, you can see it. It's a beautiful coin. It's just, I see it every day. I touch it every day. And it reminds me that there's a better way to live. Living our life from the inside out, upside down. It's a whole different way. So if you're reading, watching the replay, and you want to know more about this, you're going to want to connect. You're going to want to book an appointment. Now, I think I've spoken off a little bit longer than what I thought, but this was about 20 minutes. I want to get Paula to really give us a couple minutes, maybe more about herself and about what she thought of what I said. And then we'll maybe watch something about desire from Bob Proctor, because that's what I felt like this morning. But if you have other ideas, I'm open. I'm easygoing. So, because I figured it out, and I'm going to help teach you this. And it's up to you to decide to change quick or continue this long path of waiting for retirement. And you don't want to wait for retirement. Retirement is an English word used to use for the mammals, right? For the goats and the cows when they put them to pasture, and that means they're there for their deathbed. They're waiting to die, and you don't want to be just living your life on hold until you retire, tiptoeing into life through safety, but nothing happened. Right? So Today is your day. I hope you had a paper and pen. I should have said at the beginning to make that decision that from this day on, you're not gonna be like that anymore. And I really encourage you to reach out, connect, and let's play this amazing life because it is a game, and it's a game of success, and you can do it. Because if I can do it, you can do it. So, Paula, what's your thought on this? I've been reading the first few chapters of Think and Grow Rich again and again, and I wanted to keep it simple, so I came up with these 5 points and how I can connect them with how we teach and how we coach. Any thoughts? Anything you'd like to add?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Sorry, I was no, I think the summary you gave was so good because you also stated it is so simple. We just have to accept. And in that moment, when you don't know what you don't know, you're like, how do I accept? How do I do this? And I remember being there, and I didn't think I was stuck. I thought I just needed a change. I was looking for something different until in that surge, it was taking me a while. I did feel eventually I felt like I was stuck. Like, where do I go from here? I have, success in my career. I have health. I have, wellness, and but I just wasn't happy, and I just didn't know what I was looking for. And that when you talk about desire, you have to make a decision, and you have to find really that desire. And I think my desire at the time was, what do I really want? Why do I feel good? Why do I celebrate? And there was guilt, right? I should. And I think as a woman, a lot of us think that, raising kids and their kids are good and they're healthy, I should feel good and I should be fine. And then there's the guilt because I wasn't feeling good. I wasn't doing that. And even though I read this book, I remember reading it 30 days each chapter, I was still not getting there. The shift really came when I found somebody to study with, and I got a mentor and a coach because you reading from a place of stuckness, like it's not going to appear that simple, that obvious. And you mentioned, you got your mentors, I got mine, and I decided to study with Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins, and then I went into the healing side of it too with Master Choa Tzu in pranic healing and really understand what is energy. It's like everything is energy. I am energy. So the journey can be simple. You just need to have the right person, the right community, because it can be very lonely if you try to do it by yourself. You don't know where to go, who help you, and then your family's like, "Why are you doing this? Have you thought about this?" And too many questions that you don't even know the answer. And a community like Kamal is building, it's what you need to help you move faster, and then the mentoring and the coaching to help you get out of your way. It's a must, I think, for quicker advance. So thanks, Kamal.
I love it. I love what you said. It's amazing because this thing that we have to accept it to be simple is so good. Like we have to accept that I can do this, that you can do this, and write down that today is the day that I'll stop sabotaging my success. Today is the day that I'll stop sabotaging my health. Today is the day that I'll stop whatever it is that you want to stop. And write this over and over and over and over again. But you're going to want this to be simple. And you have to accept it to be simple. If you think it's going to be hard, it will be hard. If you think it's going to take too long, it will take too long. If you think it's going to cost a lot of money, it probably will. Now, I'm an authority on this, and so is Paula. Why? Because we've done it. And now that we've done it, we can share with you how. Now that we've understood this, how simple this could be, and Bob always used to tell us, let it go. It's simpler than what you think, Kamal. You're overcomplicating it. Let it go. So don't make this complicated. This isn't about, oh, much, man, I'm going to do it my way. No, let go of all that because your current paradigm has got you where you are. And if you want to shift fast and start getting that next level success, you're going to have to adopt the new ideas into your life. See, you don't have to solve it. There's so many things we don't have to solve now. You think you have to solve everything. You don't. The world will solve it for you. See, the answers are not difficult because of just because of what you went through. Some people think, Kamal, my past, I've been through this. You don't know where I've been. You don't know the kind of people that I work with. You don't know the kind of business that I've been in. You don't know what my neighborhood is like. You don't know what my mom and dad. You know what? We all have these things. And you probably think, those who are listening and watching the replay, that you are special some way. So there's something special about you that, the connections you had and the people that you met and how you got here. It needs a whole different solution. I tell you, it doesn't. It's so simple, it's so obvious, it's misunderstood. So that's when you come into this mentorship and guidance where we coach you and teach you, and we can help you. We want to help you. I want to help you. Paula wants to help you. I want to help you do what? I want to help you to live a better life. Help you to have this new paradigm to shift your system, shift your income, shift your level of achievement. Like that. But you're going to have to let a few things go. You see, you cannot bring something good into your life holding on to everything. You're going to have to let some of the things go. If you're holding on to everything you got, anything new is not going to come into you. You have to let it go. Let the new goodness come to you. It took me a while to understand that. And then the simplest example is your closet. Let's say your closet has 2 shelves and you have the set of clothes and shirts. So you bring new stuff, new life, new looks, new style. You have to let go of some of the old stuff. You don't pile it all up. But you're holding on to you. Like, oh, I'm so special. We're all special. We're all amazing. But we have to let go of the old, start the new. Adopt, accept, and agree. I'll leave you with that before we play the desire. And you got to adopt, accept, and agree some new things, some new simple rules, and put some rules for yourself into your life. And we can teach you this. Paula is an expert. She can read your energy. She can really see where are the gap to help you jump. It's a beautiful system that we coach on thinking into results. I've never seen anything like it. As a matter of fact, I probably would never buy any other program again. And it's not just a program. It's a system. It's a way of living. It's a life. And that's why sometimes many coaches that struggle to really say, what do we do with this thinking into results? Well, we help you change your life. We help you upgrade. We help you become effective. We help you become a leader. We help you to stop sabotaging yourself. We help you to start doing the things that you should be doing. And you and I know, for you to become a leader, that next level of success, you're going to have to learn some leadership. You're going to have to learn how to use a team. And that is my final word on this. So if you're listening and if you're watching the replay and you like this, go to askalrassi.com. Look up Paula Flores. She's just incredible. And come into our communities and let us help you win. Let us help you start achieving more. Okay. Now, with that, I've queued the quick video on desire today because, we've got almost 30 minutes and it's a 29-minute video. Actually, it's pretty cool. So how about we watch that, Paula? Are you good with that? Does that work for you, Paula? Watch desire today?
Yeah, that works perfect.
Love it. Here we go. All right, share sound, optimize video clip, desire, Bob Proctor. And now, so this is Bob is going to be talking to us about the laws of success and the desire chapter from Think and Grow Rich. So you might want to get a piece of paper and a pen and make sure you're taking some notes, or just listen attentively and listen to this a few times. And then remember, we are here for you. Reach out. We'd love to help you. And let's get you to that next wave of success. So here we go. The one and only Bob Proctor.
Emotional involvement with your want is the desire. What do you want? There is one quality which one must possess to win, and that is definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants, and a burning desire to possess it. It's been said that desire is the effort of an unexpressed possibility within, seeking expression without through our action. Let me repeat that. Desire is the effort of the unexpressed possibility within, seeking expression without through our action. Now the trick here, how do we get it within? Do you know, I have heard, and you've probably heard, many sales managers, vice presidents of sales, if we could only build desire. And they say it as if they can't. The truth is, they can. You will never desire something you don't want. You will not desire it. If you're going to build desire, and desire is really the yeast that raises the dough, make no mistake about that. It's what really fuels the engine. The desire has to be there, and it has to be strong, and you can build it, and then you can add power to it. But you have to understand how your mind functions. And if you don't understand how your mind functions, the understanding of desire is going to escape you. And that's what happens with most people. They never really focus. They never develop the desire because they make the wrong decisions. Now think, when you're going after something you want, the only prerequisite, we've already covered this in decision, is do I want it? If you want it, bang, like that, you're going to make a decision to get it. Now, at that point, it's something you want. Wants are just resident in our conscious mind. They're not in our subconscious. They're in our conscious mind. It's something we see on the screen of our mind. We build an image of it. We're told to build images. We're told to build a crystal clear image in our conscious mind of what it is we want. We've often been told to write it out. I've mentioned that to many people. Describe it in as much detail as you can, and in the present tense. Present tense is vital. You see, if you study this long enough, you're going to realize that's all we've ever got. There isn't any past. There isn't any future. That's all an illusion. They're myths. Conscious mind, present tense. You've got to see what you want. Now, the trick is you've got to take the idea from your conscious mind of the want, and you've got to deposit it in the treasury of your subconscious mind. I did not originate that idea. William James did. I just love using it. He said, deposit it in the treasury of your subconscious mind, because that's where all the power lies. Well, how do we do this? Well, first of all, I think we have to review just who we are and what we are, how we function. You know, why can we accomplish so much? And in a short period of time, why can we go from struggling to winning? How does this happen? There is a way, and it all comes with understanding. First of all, realize that the reflection coming back from the mirror is really not you. That's your body. The body is the instrument of the mind, as magnificent as it is. And we study the body all of our life and never completely understand it, but it's just the instrument of the mind. We have to understand something about the mind. Most people do not understand the mind. No one has ever seen the mind. So trying to understand the mind when we haven't got any image of it, it's almost impossible. There was a doctor in San Antonio, Texas, understood that, Dr. Thurman Fleet. He was very involved in the healing arts way back around 1934. And he said, you know, all problems originate in the mind, and he said they express themselves in the body. So when we treat a problem in the body, we're treating a symptom or we're treating an effect. We're not treating the cause of the problem. You got to go to the mind. Well, most people, when they think of the mind, instantly they get a picture of the brain. But the brain isn't your mind any more than your foot or your elbow. The brain is part of the body, as magnificent as it is, and make no mistake about it. It's not the mind. It's an expression of the mind, as the rest of the body is. The brain is actually an electronic switching station. As you activate brain cells, your mind activates brain cells, you set up different vibrations. You move yourself into a different vibration. You're going to move into the vibration that the good that you desire is on. It's on that frequency. But that's going down the road a little ways. We're talking about desire now. So what do? The conscious mind has the ability to accept or reject. And this good doctor said, I'm going to make a picture of the mind, and he drew a circle. And he put a line across the center. He said the circle represents the mind. The line across the center is the dividing line from the conscious to the subconscious. Now, is that the way it is? No, it's not the way it is. Nobody knows the way it is in an image. This is one he made, and he made it, and it's a marvelous idea. Then he put a little circle in the bottom. He says that's the body. Now, it's what's going on in the big circle that dictates what's going to go on in the small circle. So let's take a look at the conscious mind. If you're a psych major, you know the conscious mind reasons inductively and deductively, either way, both ways. The subconscious does not. The subconscious is totally deductive. It's also immoral. It doesn't care what you plan. It has no ability to differentiate between good and bad. It cannot differentiate between what's real and what's imagined. So you can just imagine something, put it in your subconscious mind will accept it. Nothing's ridiculous. All things are possible. It's like planting something in the earth. The earth is immoral. I love the way Earl Nightingale explained it on his Strangest Secret recording. He said, you can plant corn, a sweet food. Not a 16th of an inch away, you can plant nightshade, a deadly poison. One will come up with just as great an abundance as the other. Well, that's the way the subconscious mind works. Now, what we've got to understand is that the conscious mind originates the ideas. Then the subconscious mind has to put that idea in the subconscious mind. However, there's a problem. The subconscious mind has been pre-programmed. It's been pre-programmed before you were even born. As a matter of fact, the subconscious mind begins to be programmed at the moment of conception. Now, we may be going a long way off track here to explain desire, but I think it's necessary. Where did you come from? Well, a little energy from mom, a little from dad, come along, and they joined. That formed the nucleus of you. All mom's DNA is in there, all dad's DNA. Where did mom's come from? Well, from her mother and dad. Where did they come from? Well, from their parents. So you see, there's a genetic strain that goes way back. And a lot of it is ridiculous information that's programmed right into the DNA. So here you are, 280 days after the moment of conception, and you make your debut on the planet, then your subconscious mind is wide open. It's white, it's like an empty cup. And you can put anything in it you want, and everything's going in. Have you ever asked yourself why people that go through school, their kids go through school? Do you ever wonder why people that quit school early, their kids usually quit school early? It's programming. It's the programming that's taking place. See, whatever goes into the subconscious mind repeatedly, over and over, becomes fixed there. We're programmed to live the way we live. We're programmed to speak the language we speak. If we took an English-speaking child out of New York and placed him in a suburb of Shanghai, that English-speaking baby, or that baby that came from English-speaking parents, would grow up fluent in Chinese, no knowledge of the English language. And we know that. Now, if we took the child from Shanghai and did the same the other way around, the child would grow up fluent in English, no knowledge of the Chinese language. You see, whatever's going on around a baby programs the baby. Do you know the self-image that we walk around with? We didn't originate that self-image. That self-image was originated when we were infants. The subconscious mind, I said, has no ability to reject. The conscious mind has the ability to accept or reject. Like if you're watching the news, you can say, well, I don't believe that. You know, somebody says there's a recession coming, you think, I'm not going to participate. You know, you don't have to buy any of that. Problem is, we don't question it. Because when we're watching, we're not thinking, our mind is wide open and it's dumping right in. Now, the more we understand how this mind functions, and it's vitally important that we do, the more we're going to understand desire. The better off we're going to be for not only building a desire, but adding power to it. And the only thing that can grow is the thing you give energy to. So we take the thing we want and we polish it in as much detail as possible. Because we know when it goes over to the subconscious got no ability to change it. Whatever you plant, that's what you're going to get. So we build the picture of what we want. We crystallize the picture. We write it out. We rewrite it. And we make sure it's covered in every detail that we can possibly come up with. We do it in as few words as possible. It's not the words, it's the picture. See, every word is a symbol. Every symbol has a corresponding image. Well, when we put the right words together, we build the right image. So we build the image of what we want. I mentioned that I sat down and I took my pen and I said, I'm going to build a company that operates all over the world. Well, I had to see that happening. I had to build it. It was a fantasy because that's where all goals start. Your want starts out as a fantasy, just sheer fantasy. Then you turn the fantasy into a theory. Now that's a subject in itself that we will get into, but you start to build this picture. Then you mentally let yourself get emotionally involved in it. I read a book a lot, Stella Adler's book, The Art of Acting. Now, I don't want to be an actor, I want to just be a better teacher. But I found out if you're really going to live, you got to act like the person you want to become. She was one of the great acting teachers. She was, just phenomenal acting teacher. She studied under Stanislavski, I believe his name was, who was the Russian acting teacher who originated method acting. The foreword in Stella Adler's book was written by Marlon Brando, who became the first superstar through method acting. And the strange part is Stella Adler never actually wrote a book. She taught lessons. A man named Kissel took all her lessons after she passed on and turned it into a book. It's a fascinating book. So as you read the book, what you're really doing is going to her acting classes. And I would suggest you do that. I watch a couple of movies, and I watch them over and over and over again. One's Patton with George C. Scott. The other is Lawrence of Arabia. They're phenomenal movies. These people weren't acting, they were literally living the part. George C. Scott became General Patton. Peter O'Toole became Lawrence of Arabia. And as I watch this, I see how real it is in their mind. You see a scene where Peter O'Toole's on a camel coming across the desert. The camera's right in close on him, and he thinks he's Lawrence. He's acting like the person he wants to become. That's what we have to do. When you build the goal of what you want, you've got to see yourself with it. It's not hoping it happens down the road. It'll always stay down the road. It's got to be now. It's got to be in our subjective mind. Now, you're going to have a problem doing this because the paradigm doesn't want to accept it. The paradigm wants to reject it. It's not in harmony with the paradigm. The paradigm is a program in your subconscious mind. And it's a program that does not want to accept this new part that you're putting in it. Neither will your relatives or your friends or your neighbors. They'll say, who are you trying to kid? What are you acting like that for? They don't want you to change. But I'm going to tell you something. If you want to change your life, you got to change your life. And that's where it starts. It starts by building what you want, and then you've got to let yourself get emotionally involved. So you mentally start living it. You literally become the part. And you've got to do that over and over and over and over again. Ask yourself this question. How many times did your mother call you by name before you ever looked around thinking somebody was calling you? I don't know how many times she called Bob before I ever turned my head, but I knew she didn't just do it once or twice. It was done over and over and over and over again. Repetition is the first law of learning, and our intellect doesn't want to accept it. We say, well, I've already read it once. Read it 10,000 times. See it over and over again. And by doing this and understanding, you're going to hit something called a terror barrier. You're going to get afraid. It's going to stop you. You're going to then think this is ridiculous. I can't do this. And you're going to look at all those 30 reasons Napoleon Hill talked about for failing. They'll all become very vibrant in your mind. Reject them. Get rid of them. Play the game with your mind. Fantasize. Then live it. Become real. And you keep getting emotionally involved. You can do this as you're going to sleep. You can do this as you're driving. You can do it anywhere. But you've got to do it. And it's through the repetition over and over and over again that you will override all that old genetic conditioning. You'll override all that environmental conditioning from when you're a child. And you will start to get emotionally involved with the goal. Don't expect it to happen tomorrow. It won't. You got to do this over and over and over again. See, it's the understanding of the battle that you're up against. Do you know in the movie The Godfather, you'll see where the Godfather talked to Michael. Michael was the son, of course, and Marlon Brando was the Godfather. And he gave him some advice. There was a contract out by the opposing gang. They were going to kill Michael. And the Godfather said, Michael, learn to think as they think, so you'll know how to overcome it. You've got to learn, how has your programming been done? What is it going to do for you? If you want to know what your programming is going to do for you, just take a look at your past results. Because all your past results are nothing but an expression of somebody else's programming. It has nothing to do with what you know. You already know how to do many times better than you're doing. Knowing how to do it is not the problem. That's information that's gathered in the conscious mind. It's not the conscious mind that controls us. That's the reason why people coming out of school prestigious degrees, no performance. The results don't match all the knowledge in their mind. Why? It's the paradigm, it's the programming, genetic and environmental, and it's strong. Well, you've got to go past all that before you'll ever plant what you want. And every time you go to feed it, every time you go to give more energy to it, the paradigm is going to be there trying to kick it out. And it's going to give you very logical reasons why you're being silly. It's going to give you practical reasons why this won't work. And you're going to be listening to your friends, and what they're going to tell you is what you're already thinking. You don't have the money. How are you going to do it? The money's not there. The money will be there when the money has to be there if you hold the image of doing it. How did I build a company that operates all over the world? I don't know how to do it. Hill pointed out some advice from Carnegie that was very, very good. He said the accumulation of great fortunes calls for power. And power is acquired through highly organized and intelligently directed specialized knowledge. But the person who accumulates the fortune doesn't have to have the knowledge. When I first read that, I felt like I just broke out of a prison. I didn't have to know everything. I have some brilliant people that I work with. They know how to do things I'll never learn how to do. You're getting information here. You may never want to teach what I'm teaching you. So you don't have to know how to teach this. You just have to buy into what I'm telling you, know that I'm telling you the truth, and this just works. Quit listening to your neighbors. Quit listening to some of your friends and relatives. They're telling you why you can't. You know what you want to do? Take a look at their results. Do you want their results? Because that's what their thinking is giving them. Do you want their thinking? I don't think so. When that was suggested to me, it started to become obvious. Strange thing, we asked our relatives or our next door neighbor, what do you think, Harry? Do you think I should? Harry will say, it'll never work, forget it. Go to someone who's made it work. Ask them. They'll say, no, this information is right. You see, right now, as I'm speaking and you're listening, there's a power that's flowing to and through you. It's pure, unadulterated energy, pure, unadulterated spirit. It flows to and through you. It's what you're made out of. You can literally photograph the energy leaving your body. Back in 1934, Semyon Kurlian perfected a form of photography that was so powerful you can penetrate this. The energy is so powerful, it'll penetrate the camera, penetrate the film, and you can actually photograph it. And as you change your thoughts, you change the vibration you're in, so the color and this density of this energy changes. You're a living dynamo. Hold your hand up and look at it just for a moment. Do you know that there's approximately 11 billion kilowatt hours per pound potential energy locked up in the electrons in the atoms of your body? We've known that since the 50s. There's so much more to you than appears on the surface. Understand this. Your conscious mind can dream. It has fantasy factor in it. Build the picture of what you want. You can accept or reject all ideas that will not help you get it. Only accept the ideas that will help you get it. Keep building the picture clear. Rewrite it, redream it. Then get emotionally involved. And let yourself, let is the key word. You don't try, you let yourself get emotionally involved. Become aware of how you feel. Because as you let yourself get emotionally involved, you change the vibration you're in. Feeling is a word we invented to describe our conscious awareness of the vibration we're in. Person says, I don't feel very good. They're consciously aware they're in a bad vibration. They're emotionally involved with a bad idea. Person says, I feel like $1 million. They're consciously involved in a very positive idea. They're emotionally involved. Let yourself get emotionally involved with your goal. Dream it. Every time you eat, hook it into things you're doing. Every time you turn on the keys of the car. Okay? Every time you sit down at a table, let the idea of your mind flash on the screen of your mind of what you want. But feel it. Feel it. It's the repetition of planting the idea in the subconscious mind that is the trick. It's the idea that's planted that is the desire. Way back in religious, they say, desire comes from the Latin, deicere, to give birth to the children. Your ideas are your children. Don't let them be stillborn. Feed them. Feed them often. Feed them every day. Stay emotionally involved with that idea. Don't listen to anybody that tell you why you can't. Only listen to people that tell you how you can. All things are possible. We don't have to be very bright today to really buy into that. Look at the technology we've got today. Look at the modes of transportation. You know, it's just a little over 100 years ago that the Wright brothers got that plane off the ground. Somebody said, yeah, but they were only up there for 14 seconds. That wasn't their attitude. They said, we not only got it up there, we kept it up there for 14 seconds. And look at today, we're flying off to other planets. Progress has been phenomenal. There's the breakthrough. Make this the breakthrough of your family, of your friends, of everyone you work with. They'll follow you. Share it with them. Willingly give, graciously receive. It's a secret for living. But understand desire is the idea that's properly planted in the subjective mind, that's attempting to express itself through action. You see, it's the idea in there that causes the body to act. It not only causes the body to act, dictates the vibration the body's in, that dictates what you attract. See, action and reaction are equal and opposite. That's a law of the universe. Emerson said, Ralph Waldo Emerson said, that's the law of laws. Why? Because that's the way everything works. Action, reaction, the law of cause and effect. When you act, when you send your thoughts out, when you send your feelings out, when you send your actions into the universe reacts in a like manner. A lot of people refer to that as the law of attraction. The law of attraction is a secondary law. The primary law is the law of vibration. Get in the right vibration, you don't have any ever concern with what you're going to attract. You will attract everything that's required for the manifestation of the image. Andrew Carnegie made that very clear. He said, any idea, now listen carefully, any idea that is held in the mind, that's emphasized, that's either feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself in the most convenient and appropriate form available. Emotional involvement with your want is the desire. That's where it happens. Now, when the paradigm tries to reject it, you've got to override the paradigm. The paradigm's going to give you ideas in your conscious mind to knock the want out and tell you why you can't. Your paradigm's giving you what you've got, and that's what you don't want. Go after what you do want. Get emotionally involved. Emotional involvement with what you want is the desire. And it's the repetition of being emotionally involved with what you want that fixes a desire in your subjective mind. Then it's automatically working in your favor. But understand this, clearly understand this. The results you're getting are an expression of what you've desired in the past. Most people see desire as a positive concept. It can be both. What did Carnegie say? Any idea that's held in the mind, that's emphasized, that's either feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself in the most convenient and appropriate form available. Subjective mind is totally deductive. It has no inductive reasoning capacity. It can only accept what you give. And if you're worried, that can turn into the desire. If you're thinking negative thoughts, that turns into the desire. We must override all that. We're operating with understanding. People don't desire what they don't want consciously and deliberately. They're doing it because of ignorance. They don't understand. That's where I lived for 26 years. As I started to understand, I changed it. And when I found out, I build a picture of what I want. Doesn't matter how it's going to happen, it'll happen. Then I get emotionally involved. And I stay emotionally involved. It's the emotional involvement with the want that becomes the desire. Want more. Want better. This isn't going to make you a better person. It's going to make you a better life. You're already beyond the scope of imagination with beauty and talent and power. What ideas have been clothing themselves in your world? Take a look at your results. If they're not what you want, change them. If you're seeing something you don't want, build an image of its polar opposite, what you do want. One thing I learned when I first started, getting out of debt is a bad goal. Because if you're trying to get out of debt, you're thinking debt, and you're going to attract more of the same. Forget the debt. Focus on prosperity. See yourself as a person that attracts it. I have an affirmation. I'm so happy and grateful now that money comes to me through multiple sources on a continuous basis. Think, I am so happy and grateful now that money comes to me through multiple sources on a continuous basis. That's the way it's working. That's the way it's working. Build the desire. Plant the idea in your subconscious mind. You're going to find the action, the attraction, it'll all happen because desire is the cause. So if you've got someone that just doesn't seem to have the desire, help them make a decision they're going to go after what they want. Most people don't. If you have employees, guarantee you, they don't know what they want. The truth is, they don't know they can have anything they want. If you're managing people, understand this. Management's not the direction of things. Management is a development of people. If you're going to develop people, your own children, anybody, you've got to find out what they want. You'll never motivate anybody if you're talking to them about something they don't want. You'll never build a desire to do something you don't want to do. It's got to be what you want. Want is the prerequisite. Want is the preamble to all growth. What do you want?
Lincoln dreamed of freedom for the black slaves, put his dream into action, and barely missed living to see a united North and South translate his dream into reality. Marconi dreamed of a system for harnessing the intangible forces of the ether. Evidence that he did not dream in vain may be found in every wireless and radio in the world. Moreover, Marconi's dream brought the humblest cabin and the most stately manor house side by side. It made the people of every nation on earth backdoor neighbors. Helen Keller became deaf, dumb, and blind shortly after birth. Despite her greatest misfortune, she has written her name indelibly in the pages of history of the great. Her entire life has served as evidence that no one ever is defeated until defeat has been accepted as a reality. Beethoven was deaf. Milton was blind. But their names will last as long as time endures because they dreamed and translated their dreams into organized thought. A burning desire to be and to do is the starting point from which the dreamer must take off.
The wonderful thing about these 13 principles is that each person will discover their own unique way to use them. They're the best tools you're ever going to find. And now, we're going to take a personalized look at exactly how you will do that.
After each segment, I'm going to ask you to write down the principle. And underneath that, write down the very first thing that comes to your mind about how you can implement that principle in your life. So let's start with desire. Get out your notebook. Write desire in capitals at the top of the page. And then I'm going to use this principle of desire in the following way. And then finish that sentence in your notebook. Don't overthink it. Just tune into your own powerful intuition and record on paper what comes to you. Do it now.
So let's take a minute to do that now. I wanted to play. Okay. Here's what I wanted to play. Still have to play it. All right. That was awesome. I don't know about you, but I wrote, apart from the last page, almost 4 pages. And I've listened to this so many times. So many times. So good. Desire is the unexpressed possibility within, seeking expression without, through your actions. I love that. Build a picture, mentally see yourself with it, just like that. Emotional involvement with what you want is your desire. Any idea that's held in the mind will reveal itself, whether feared or revered. It's going to reveal itself in the most convenient form available. So many good points. So much content. Desire is to give birth to the children. Only listen to people who say you can, no one else. And then repetition is the first law of learning. Build what you want, mentally start living it over and over and over and over again, and keep doing it until you become it. So good. I mean, it just reminds me that we need to get emotionally engaged with the goal. Sometimes we write the goal, but when we write it, we got to get that emotional involvement with it, because that's the link, that feeling. All right, couple more minutes here, and then we'll adjourn. This has been awesome. How was that for you, Paula?
Hey, Kamal. That's pretty intense. I didn't think the video was that long first time, but this time there were so many ahas. I was like, wait, like I want to talk about this. Don't go. It's like dropping more and more gems, and same as you took. I wrote, get emotional involved with what you want.
Yeah.
Want is just in your conscious mind, but desire, it's when you get emotional involved, and then people think that their desired can only be positive, but we get emotional involved with what we don't want, and that is desire as well. I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah.
So there was a few key moments there that it's like, yeah, this video has so much in it that you cannot just watch it once.
Yeah, that's why I'm just forever grateful I came across it. It's just helping me see and do and become really what we want to do. And just remember, let's remember the thing, the repetition, first law of learning. You do it over and over. Make sure you're not looking at the debt, look at the income. And you're not looking at the negative and what you're becoming. Any idea that's feared or revered, right? It was just loaded. I mean, yeah, every 3-4 minutes we can pause and talk about it for 20-30 minutes. It's because that's how we have to overcome it. Now the problem is that so many just don't understand this. They think it's just gonna happen quick, and they don't do the basics. So it's the understanding. It's the understanding that's gonna help us to grow up. Understanding the mind. Build a picture of what you want. See yourself doing it now, and don't let the paradigm hijack you. So yeah, it all ties together with what I talked at the beginning, what we listened to, and it's a beautiful video. So with that, I'm gonna pause the video here in a second, and then we'll see what else we do. Get a very packed morning and afternoon, and this has been awesome. Thank you so much, Paula, for joining. And few people joined on Clubhouse earlier. There's nobody there now, but it's all good. Watch the replay, enjoy it, and reach out. Al-Rassi.club is the place to go. www.alrassi.club or ask alrassi.com to see and get involved. You really want to become part of this community, because we're here to help you, grow. So thanks again, and I look forward to speaking with many of you soon.